Okay. All right. Well, hey, Krista, how are you doing?
Hi, Ashley. I'm good. How are you?
Great, great. Thanks for taking a few minutes to chat with us today. For those of you watching, I'm Ashley Lesbrance, the sales manager here at Loan for Creative, and I have the pleasure today of interviewing one of our inbound marketing specialists, Krista Donahoe. Krista, hi, Krista. So Krista works with our clients to help them see success across their marketing goals by doing a lot of content implementation, SEO work, and everything HubSpot related. She's also a fan of all dogs and a great beer, so she's a blast to hit up a brewery with. So welcome, Krista. Excited to chat with you.
Yay. Yes.
Yay. But the main purpose today is to pick her brain because she is a true HubSpot guru. With that in mind, we're going to spend some time today talking with Krista about HubSpot business units. Ready to kick things off, Krista?
Oh, yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll start with what might seem like the obvious, but not for all our viewers. So what are business units?
Yeah, definitely. So business units are kind of a new feature that they've added into HubSpot. And it allows you to partition your marketing assets and kind of your marketing ethos as a whole for your company across kind of separate business units. So when I say business units, what I mean is if you have like an overarching parent company and you have two different brands that are hanging out underneath, you might not necessarily do the same thing, but you might be maybe selling to the same people, or you're still all under the same like main company umbrella. And prior to this, like we'd kind of be a little bit scattered as far as like where your business units live or where that other branch of the company hangs out. But now we are able to pull those into HubSpot and allow us to partition that marketing asset situation a lot better than we were able to prior.
Excellent. Okay. So it sounds like before we had business units functionality, we had to solve for multiple brands or business units through separate siloed HubSpots or like within one HubSpot portal with like very messy, confusing data. But now business units allow users to segment their marketing assets. Can you tell us a bit more, expand upon how business units have helped solve that problem?
Yeah. So and this is really going to be specifically for our marketing hub. It's not quite live sales and service yet, but like if you are going into your landing pages within HubSpot, especially if you have multiple domains. Prior, you were able to click like a drop down, go in between domains, in between blogs if you had multiple on your account. This same functionality now exists for business units. So you can populate back and forth between different landing pages for your business units. Similar with email, it does allow us to partition and assign emails, forms. It really allows us to organize our marketing assets across for business units. We also have the ability to for our kind of design assets, any logos, brand colors, we can do multiple brand kits, multiple domains, and it just really allows us to have a lot better organization in the back end for our marketing users to do assets for what might tend to be two different audiences, even though we're all coming back to the same location.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so it sounds like business units have really helped to provide a solution to streamline the management of the parts and the whole, and in a cost efficient way, it seems. So that's
Exactly.
good for everyone, obviously. So speaking of good for everyone, let's dig into that a little bit. What type of businesses have you seen can really benefit from HubSpot business units?
Yeah, so kind of the main thing that I personally like to ask people when they are kind of interested in the business units tool is, do you want your leads for your sales team? Do you want them to have all of the same information, and are you looking to share leads across teams? If so, business units is a great place for you. It allows you to populate leads back and forth very, very easily between two different sales teams, even if you only have two reps, but they work in, two. Prior, they would be very siloed into their own like lead lists, whatever, but now you can pass info back and forth. It allows for a lot of transparency, just purely because you can just pass a record over with all of our activity information without having to export and import into another portal and then lose all of our activity info from there. So that's going to be like my main question I ask everybody is, are you interested in lead sharing, and are you interested in everybody having the same information? If that is not the case for you, then business units might not be where you need to be. But if that is, I think business units is a great solution for teams.
Excellent. Yeah, those are really succinct, important qualifying questions. So easy to answer, which is good.
Yeah, so like if it's yes, great, hang out. No, then
Let's go forward. Exactly. Yeah. Succinct, the simple yes or no. In addition to liking really succinct, questions and answers, one of the things I love is sort of, like cool things that you get to do with these different tools that maybe aren't always what are mentioned on like a product page. But you really get to learn it as you start to learn the tools. So as someone who is like very knowledgeable of business units, what are some cool things that you can do with business units in HubSpot that aren't possible otherwise or weren't possible before the functionality?
Yeah, so I think my favorite thing, yeah, just purely for like an ease of user experience. So as I was saying earlier, we do have multiple brand kits when you do have business units, which a brand kit is really just going to be logos, colors, all that stuff that does populate up when you're creating a landing page or an email and you're looking to select colors. But when you are going in to create, an email and you select, hey, I'm creating this email underneath this business unit, it'll populate up those brand kit colors. And it just makes your life a lot easier when you're going in, as opposed to having to pick through like 14 different situations that you have coming up. So that's going to be one of my favorite things that it does. It also allows us to do very specific reporting for business units. And this is like, so you can do, if you are, C-level Tim and you are the VP of this whole branch of the company, you've got your 3 branches in your business unit. It does allow you to report on your entire portal as a whole, and then you can partition out by specific business units in those specific kind of reporting features. So that's very fun to do as well, just so that it does allow us to have that kind of very, 5,000 foot view of our entire portal, and then we can really drill down from there via those specific business units and any properties associated.
Yeah, I love your 2 examples so much because I think it shows sort of the user ease, right? That's so important. And that's why I think often, especially as we're researching ways to improve our tech stack and improve our functionality and optimize our systems, that we often think of it from like a 5,000 foot level, right? Like what's going to be the return on investment here? And so that's where C-level Tim cares a great deal about the reporting, but the person who's actually going to be using it every day is going to care about those brand kits that are in there. So I love those 2 examples next to each other because they're both equally important to that functionality, but just like different goals for end users and who's in it. So that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. So we know that HubSpot is investing a lot of time, effort, and resources into business units. So a lot more features will continue to roll out. Where do you see business units going as a HubSpot partner?
I think one of the major things that they are getting a lot of feedback on is going to be bringing the functionality into sales and service. So as of right now, sales and service hubs don't have any of the partitioning that is currently in Marketing Hub. This tool is very, very focused on Marketing Hub currently. So if having that business unit functionality in sales and service is very important to you, may want to wait a little bit to get into there, but that is where that is heading, is really getting those features in there, as well as being able to kind of segment things by team, but it really is allowing us to kind of assign a little bit more specifically to teams. But that's kind of really where that tool is heading, is really kind of expanding out on that, and then really dialing in on the current features that they have available in Marketing Hub. Since this is a very new tool into HubSpot, another thing I like to tell people that are coming onto this, it's still kind of a half beta feature. So the business unit functionality as a base is available across the platform. It is no longer in beta, but they are adding new things into it all the time. And those are going to be considered beta features. So there may be some hiccups. There may be, bumps in the road that we need to smooth out. But as a whole, they are investing a lot of time, energy, and resources in getting this functionality where HubSpot wants it to be, and then where partners are giving feedback where they want it to be.
And that's, you just touched on what I was going to say too, is, there's sort of the pros and cons of that stage of something within HubSpot. And like you said, there might be hiccups, there might be a couple of bumps in the road, but the great thing is that they are, HubSpot's always wanting to hear that feedback. And so you get an opportunity almost with your feedback to sort of mold what you want the tool to look like, which is
influence it a little bit on where you want the tool to go. And especially that's one of my favorite things. It's like, hey, we should do this with the tool. And then they will take that back and go, okay, maybe we can do this, and this functionality is support, these ideas, which is always fun, especially when you're like, hey, been here since this tool came out. So
I know, and I was going to say that's another thing too, is being a HubSpot partner and being, HubSpot experts and having been in the tool for so long, is we've seen stuff that we've gone through those
Yep.
those bumps in the road and given that feedback, and that seems like forever ago. And now we look at this tool that's, we can't imagine our day to day without, that is really well developed. And so it's great to have that relationship with such an important tech tool throughout the day,
exactly.
to be able to give that feedback and see the functionality develop in a way that you really want to actually use it in your day to day. So that's great. So, Krista, thank you. This has been exceptional, so informative around business units. I'll say to any of our listeners, if you're interested in learning more about HubSpot's business units, and if it's the right solution for your business, let's connect to discuss setting up business units for your company. We also have a blog on the topic, which also interviews Krista, so you'll get to see some more quotes from her. So give that a read as well. Krista, again, thank you for joining today and walking through HubSpot business units. This has been so fun. We appreciate it. I myself will see you on Slack at some point, later today and later in the week. But for everyone else, thanks for listening. And Krista, thanks for joining.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashley.